Hi everyone. Today video is on Strawberry Shake library. So this library was provided by the Chili Cream, which develops the hot chocolate GraphQL library. So they're providing this Strawberry Shake library. So what is this Strawberry Shake library? So to consume GraphQL endpoint from a .NET library, this GraphQL Strawberry Shake library is very helpful. Okay. So let's understand what it is. So let me zoom in. So Strawberry Shake is a GraphQL client library. Okay, that can be used by all .NET standard libraries. Okay, .NET standard libraries. So that means it can be consumed from the .NET Core applications. Okay, and also it is latestly implemented this uh, Strawberry Shake, and it is more compatible with .NET 5. I think .NET 3 also supports as well. Below that, I am not sure. So here in this demo, what we will do, we will create a .NET 5 Blazor WebAssembly application, and we are going to consume the GraphQL endpoint into it. Okay. So now with the Strawberry Shake, it is very easy to consume the GraphQL endpoint. Okay, so for that we are going to use the Blazor WebAssembly sample application. Okay, so Strawberry Shake will generate a boilerplate of code for the GraphQL schema, which lays a easy path of consuming the data from our Blazor WebAssembly application. That means, so Strawberry Shake, what it will do, it will generate a schema files by using the GraphQL server endpoint. Okay, so while generating, what it will do means it will generate C# compatible files. Okay, so that contains predefined methods for the invocation of the GraphQL endpoint calls. So there is very minimum code that we are going to write. Almost we are going to use the already predefined boilerplate code. Okay, so that's about a basic idea on Strawberry Shake library. Okay, so before going any further, I want to mention that this entire session, what I am going to do, has been already made as a blog. So the link to the blog will be added in the description. So if anyone wanted, you can check the link in the description under the video. Okay, so what we will do, I am going to consume the GraphQL endpoint. So okay, here I have this is my GraphQL server code. Okay, it is up and running. This is my GraphQL server endpoint. So I have used hot chocolate GraphQL library for implementing this GraphQL server endpoint. So if you want to know how GraphQL hot chocolate will works, I have made some couple of videos. You can check my playlist as well. So coming to our demo, here you can see three tabs. Okay, so first tab is query that will fetches all the data from the server. Okay, let me show the output. See, we are able to see the response data. And the second tab is fetching the collection of data with some query data. Okay, so here is the GraphQL variable. Okay, so this command is for uh, fetching the collection of data based on filter values. Okay, so like this server will respond. And third tab is mutation command, that is to save the data into the server. Okay, so my target is on creating my Blazor WebAssembly application. Inside of it, I'm going to consume these three commands. Okay, so these three commands, what I will do, I am going to consume from Blazor WebAssembly application. Okay, so let's jump into creating the application. So first let's create a folder with any name. Okay, I have created like this. So first thing is to run the Strawberry Shake, we have to configure its CLI tools. Okay, for that we need to install couple of uh, commands into our system. Okay, so let's go to my blog. Okay, so first command of installing Strawberry Shake CLI tool is .NET tool manifest. So let's run it instead of our folder that we have created. So command is executed successfully. Okay. So command has created some config file. Let's go inside and there is a .NET -tools config file, JSON file. So let's see what inside of it. So currently there is nothing, some basic properties like version, okay, and the tools object. Now let's install Strawberry Shake tool. That is second command. So here in the command you can see -- local. That means we are installing the tool within the folder itself. Okay. So it is available within the folder only. If you want to install, you can install globally. Let me copy and open command again, run it. So you can see here some green texted message that is .NET uh, Strawberry tool is successfully installed. Okay, if you go to our config file, just reload again, you can see, okay, some like a strawberry tools object. Okay, we have successfully installed our Strawberry Shake CLI tool. Okay, now next thing is I want to create the .NET 5 Blazor WebAssembly application. So for that, within this folder only, because I have created locally, right? Strawberry tool. So go outside of this folder and install, it might not work because uh, tool has not been available there. Strawberry library tool. So let's create the Blazor server WebAssembly application. Here I am using the .NET CLI commands for creating the projects. Okay, so I am going to use the Visual Studio Code Editor. And the CLI command is like .NET, okay, new. So Blazor WebAssembly is the template name in the command. -n flag represents name of the project. Okay, so this is the command. Let's run it. So my project is successfully created. So if you are using Visual Studio, in the UI section, you are going to see a template name like Blazor WebAssembly app. Okay, you need to select that one. Okay, from Visual Studio, it is fairly simple, just a UI selection where you can easily create the Blazor WebAssembly application. Okay, so let me open my code into Visual Studio Code Editor. So here is my Blazor WebAssembly project. Okay, so target framework .NET 5. So now first step is we have to install some NuGet packages so that are related to Strawberry Shake library as well as some Microsoft libraries. Okay, so we need to install them. Okay, so first package is like Strawberry Shake transport.http. Okay, so we have to install it. So package manager command for Visual Studio and .NET CLI command for CLI users. Okay, or else you can search with this uh, name NuGet library name in the browser so that you can get the latest, okay, latest version of the uh, library NuGet. Okay, so let me copy from my talk. So here I am installing Strawberry Shake transport HTTP NuGet library. Okay, successfully installed. Now the next library is Strawberry Shake code generation C# analyzer. From the name itself, we can understand it's going to create some files with some boilerplate code. Okay, so install that as well. So that to install successfully. Okay, next thing is Microsoft dependency injection library. Okay, from this we can understand we have previously installed two Strawberry Shake libraries. Now we are going to install Microsoft dependent libraries like Microsoft dependency injection. Okay, now I think one more last package, that is Microsoft extensions for HTTP. Okay, so we have installed four libraries. If you go to the .cs proj file, you can observe our installed libraries here. Okay, so installation of libraries has successfully done. Now I have mentioned Strawberry Shake will create a boilerplate code where we can use them into our application, right? So to create that boilerplate code is nothing but a server schema. We have to run a command. That command going to use the server and schema and generates the C# classes into our Blazor WebAssembly project. Okay, so now let's run that command. Okay, so for that, so this is the command. Okay, so here if you observe .NET GraphQL init by like initializing. See here. Here you need to specify your application GraphQL endpoint. Next, -n means nothing but name, your client name. So this name, okay, whatever name you specified here, that name will be used as our HTTP client or GraphQL client created into our Blazor WebAssembly application. Using this name, a class will be created. Thus, that class contains all GraphQL endpoint communication. Okay, so please make sure to have a reasonable name here. Okay, hyphen p. Hyphen p means path. So here you can specify a folder path so that a new folder gets created into our project. Okay, so whatever you will give path, a new folder will be created here. Inside of that folder, all the server related schema configuration file will be generated. Okay, that's the use of that command. Since it has lot of custom values, let's manually write it. .NET GraphQL init, and next I need to specify my server name, server URL. Okay, so I'm copying my server URL. Okay, so I have pasted space -n. I need to specify the HTTP client name that will going to be created after running this command. So what I will do, okay, I will create my server GQL client. Okay, and next path. What I will give? I will give this half. Okay, my server GQL. Up to there, I will give as a new folder name. My server GQL. Okay, so that's the command. .NET GraphQL init your GraphQL endpoint and the name of the C# client that will going to be generated, and the folder path where all the configuration files will be generated. If you don't specify the path, it will be created on the root, which will be little bit awkward. Okay, so let me run the command. Here you can see download schema started, download schema completed. Okay, means these things happen from this server, and client configuration started and client configuration done. Means in our Blazor WebAssembly, see here my SQL server GraphQL. Here the files are generated. Okay, so if you see the schema.graphql, so this is the my server side schema. Okay, so you no need to bother what all these things. Everything will be taken care by the Strawberry Shake library. Some extension file and the dot GraphQL rc.json. Okay, so here I have to add one property in the Strawberry Shake object, that is nothing but the namespace. Okay, so that is mandatory. If I don't specify namespace, when I am going to run my application, it's going to throw the error. So please make sure to add the namespace. So for what this namespace for? This namespace will be used by the generated C# classes. Okay. So all this schema, everything will be generated as a C# class by the Strawberry Shake tool. So that tool will uses the namespace that we specified here. Okay. So namespace, what I will give the application namespace. So for that, go to imports.razor. So my application namespace is this one. And so I'm copying that and dot I am going to give them my folder name. Okay, my server GQL. And also what we will do, we no need this using. Now just save the changes. Till now there are no C# classes generated. Okay, so that means GraphQL client class also not generated. So, so to generate, first what we will do, I'm going to uh, use this query. Okay, so what I need is for the first step, I want to consume this GraphQL endpoint with this command into my Blazor WebAssembly application. So for creating the GraphQL client, so what we will do, copy this and before copying, let's create one more file. Okay, these are all like command files. So I will name like get all gadgets GraphQL. Okay, so this file is to store this command. Copy this. So here I need to add one more alias name here, that is like get all gadget. Actually, this name is not mandatory for consuming the GraphQL endpoint. You can test here, but while using Strawberry Shake library, we have to give a name to the command. Why? Because in the HTTP client class that we are going to generate, it will create a default property with this command, so that when we use that property directly with this name, we can use that property, so that that will internally generate this command. Okay, so for that we need to specify a name that is mandatory. Without this name, if we run .NET build, we are going to throw an error. Okay, so we have to specify the name. I think so far so good. So what we will do to generate the boilerplate code, first thing is we need to build the project. Okay, so let's build the project. Okay, build successful. And if you observe MySQL Server GQL folder, there is a auto-generated file. Here you can see some .NET class file. So this class will contains all the boilerplate code. Okay, so this is like this strawberry shake will help us. Okay, so next thing is we need to import the namespace. So for that, what we will do, copy this configuration namespace because we need to use some properties and classes and subclasses or methods from this auto-generated file. So they are under this namespace. See here, it is auto-generated. Okay, now we need to import that in the underscore imports file. Okay, next thing is we need to do some startup program.cs file configurations. Like our client, we need to register here GraphQL client. So builder and here type with that name. See my SQL Server client. So this is the auto-generated client. Okay, dot configure HTTP client. Okay, so here I need to configure my base domain. Base address equal to new URI. Okay, inside of URI, I simply pass my server URL. So that is the configuration we have to add in the program.cs file. Okay, save that change. Okay, so what we have done, we have generated the schema and we have configured the client as well. So now my goal is to consume this command into my application. So for that, what I will do in the pages, I am going to use the index.razor. That is nothing but the Blazor component. So here I am going to implement my sample. Okay. So let me clear all these things. Okay. HTML into HTML and some code block. Okay, now I want to load all the gadgets when my component loaded. So that means I need to invoke the API GraphQL endpoint in a lifecycle method that is like on initialize racing. So okay, this is the method lifecycle method, Blazor lifecycle method. So what I will do, I will use async task. Okay. So in this method, I want to invoke the GraphQL endpoint. So to invoke the GraphQL endpoint, we need to call the client, right? So inject client, and we know the client name. We have given client name while running the auto-generated tool command. So my server GraphQL client. So type like my server GraphQL client. See the intelligence here. Okay. Okay. So this client will run all the commands of this domain very easily. Okay. So if you have different GraphQL endpoint, means if your application has been using some multiple domains, different endpoints, GraphQL endpoints, so it is also possible. Okay, we have run a command like GraphQL init. So same command you have to create and you have to create another folder like my server GQL, right? For suppose I need to consume like another GraphQL endpoint that is example.com/GraphQL. So for that, what we have to do, we need to specify another folder. So all similar kind of files will be generated in that folder as well. Like that, you can use multiple server endpoints also if your Blazor web application depends. Okay. So now what I can do, my GraphQL. So the thing is, I want to run this command. So for this command, what we have did, we have created a file. So what is that file? Get all gadgets, and we have given a name. Okay. So now here you observe get all gadgets, a property is coming. That property is nothing but represents this name. Okay. So here what we can do means execute async. So this is going to call the all data. So execute async nothing but invokes the endpoint. Okay. That's the result. Okay. So now what it will return? It will return something data like this, right? So what I will do means, so GraphQL uh, can only return the response requested properties like. So there are few more properties that I wanted to request. So those are like cost and type. Let me run. Okay. So response is coming. Now I have to change my query in my file, GraphQL file here. Okay. Because based on these properties, it will generate a one return type. So now we have changed the .graphql file, right? So we need to regenerate again because there are new properties added in the query. So to reflect that, we need to build the project. So what I will do, I will simply run the .NET build so that my new properties will get reflected into the auto-generated file. Okay, now it is successful. So now we will get some result, right? And I have to store it to some variable. So I need to create a model for my GraphQL endpoint response. Okay, I want to create a model for this response. So for that, what we will do now, we will create a folder. Okay, folder like models, and I will create a class like gadget or CS. So this is my model class. Let's add properties. The final output of my model class looks like this. Okay. So now response data I need to capture. Okay. So now it will return collection, right? See, collection of gadgets. So what I will do, I will create a variable here like public list, and what is my model gadgets, right? So let's me import my models namespace in underscore imports file. Okay. So it is easy to access wherever in the browser component. Okay. Now you can call gadgets. So name a property like all gadgets. So initially it is a empty collection. Now I want to store the response data into this variable so that all gadgets equal to result dot. Okay, it is async, right? We need to await it. Okay. Now result dot data. See data. This property is nothing but this property. Okay. Result dot data dot see fetch all gadgets. This property is nothing but this property. So inside of this is a array property. So here what I will do, select, I am selecting the response from the all gadgets object, new gadgets. Okay. So here I will map the data. Okay, that's it. We just this line of code invoking the GraphQL endpoint, and here response is mapped to our required model object. So now I want to render this data into the HTML bootstrap table. Okay. So now go to bootstrap. By default, our Blazor WebAssembly configured with bootstrap styles. So go to docs, and here contents, go to tables. Okay. Let's copy this table. It over here and format. Okay, I want column names. So I have defined the table headers. So now let's define the table row. So at the rate for each, I'm going to loop my all gadgets property. Take this row, go inside. Okay, I think that's enough. You can see some output. So let me run my application. Okay, our application is up and running and it's loading data. See, all the data is rendered. So let's inspect element and check the API call invocation. Go to network calls. Okay, select a here XHR and reload the page. Here you can see our GraphQL endpoint. Okay, if you expand it, let me make it separate page. See here, request payload. See, this kind of complex query. Okay, instead of we are string concatenating and doing everything manually. See, strawberry library helping us to make this or to frame the GraphQL queries very simply without any efforts from our end. So that is the benefit of using this GraphQL query. Okay, GraphQL strawberry shake library. Okay, so we are done with the first command. So my second command is to get the collection of data, but it is has a variable. GraphQL variable means I am filtering the data. So I want to filter the data. Okay. So let's add a search box and a button. Okay. And go to Bootstrap form input groups. So I want this one. So let me copy this one. Second one. It over here. Okay. So here query is filtering by brands. Okay. So I want to brand by brand. Okay. Search by brand. And the second thing, button search. Okay. So that is my HTML. And we have to create a GraphQL file, right? So let me create a new GraphQL file. My server GQL. I will name this GraphQL file like filter by brand graph. Okay. Okay. Now copy paste here our command. So what is no need to copy this variable everything. This command is enough because this variable everything taken care by the strawberry shake library. Okay, paste it here, and the only thing is I need to specify a name for it so that that property will be created. Filter by brand. Okay, so new file created means we need to build the project. Stop the project. So here it is returning only few, right? For my demo, I want to return all the data. So all the data we have a property, right? So here, because I want to render the same response to the table, so I am fetching all the data. So now I need to build the project. Build. So build is done. That means our file has been successfully updated, GraphQL client file with a new property. So now let's create a method for search that are going to invoke the my endpoint. Okay, I will name method like search. So here what I can do, I can use await and my client name, and I want new property. So here it is not showing intelligence. If it is not showing, just once reload your editor. Okay, so I have reloaded my editor. Now let's try whether we are getting intelligence or not. So the method should be async task. Yeah, right. Okay. And now see filter brand property name. Nothing but our query name. Okay. So execute async. Now this execute async will take one input parameter. That is because of this one. Okay. So here we need to pass input variable that is search by brand. Nothing but this value what we are searching. Okay, so to do that, what I will do, I will create a property, public string search by brand string dot empty. I want this value to be read from the text box. So I will enable two-way binding to do that. What I will do, I will use @bind attribute, and I will simply assign the property name. Okay. Now it will going to pass the value here. So now what I will do, if dot is null or empty, okay, and pass search by brand here. Alt F. So it will also same results like our initial GraphQL endpoint comment. So I'm copying same, but this time only filter data will be binded to the table. So result, right? Okay, now it is not fetch all gadgets. Let's see, filter by brand. If you have any doubt, you can observe data filter by brand. Okay, I think we are good, and I need to register this method for click. So on click, assign the search method. I think I'm good. Let's run the project. Okay, search box is appeared. So what I will do, I will open browser console, and what I want to search OnePlus phone. So OnePlus. Click on search. See all the OnePlus data. If you go to here, network calls, see search operation by brand and variable name. So everything, okay, once go to this editor, this everything, this one and this one is internally prepared by the strawberry cake library. Okay, so like this you can search any data like Samsung, okay, like Redmi. Okay, so our search is also perfectly working. So only last comment that is pending is saving the data. Okay, so as usual, first step, let's create a file for saving the data. Okay, so go to MySQL and click on Save Gadget GraphQL. Okay, now copy paste here. No need of variable that is taken care by the library. Just copy the main mutation command. Similarly, I can give name like save gadgets, save gadget. Okay, and now what I will do, I will build the project so that it's get updated to our client file, GraphQL strawberry library client file. So it is successfully build our project. That means this mutation query has been injected into this file. So next thing is I want to add a small form, okay, so that we can add a new records. So for demo purpose, what I will do, I will copy a snippet of form. So go to index.razor file. Here I am going to copy paste it. Okay, this is my form. Here I have nothing did. I simply added the input fields. Okay, with all respect to fields that we are going to save to the data. Okay, now I need to read or bind the data to this form. For that, I can create one property. Okay, public. So what type I have to define? Let's define gadgets only. And I will name like form payload equal to initially empty form payload, and I need to use @bind property for enable the two-way binding. Form payload, I can say product. So let's do same decoration to all the input fields. Okay. So this field product name, that's fine. This field is brand, so change the property names and the type or cost and type. Okay, I am good. Now I am reading the data. So let's create a method for save. So what I will do, public async task add. Okay, and what we will do, we will use our client my. So here I am not showing the newly created property, GraphQL property. So I need to restart my editor. In general, most of times you will get intelligence by default. If you don't get the intelligence, just reload your editor. Okay, my client dot save gadgets dot execute async. And if you see execute async has a type, some C# type gadgets input, where it is? It is auto generated. We never created. Okay. So instead of converting our gadgets into gadgets input type, let's define this type as a gadgets input. Okay. So that I can directly pass my variable form payload. Okay. It's also give saved record data. Okay. So what I can do, so it is a single record, right? So new gadget, new gadget. Okay, I will map the data. So result dot data dot save dot id, like this. I need to do product brand cost type. Okay, type cost brand. Perfect. Okay. So once I get the saved record, what I will do, I will update my all projects and insert on top of all records. I will add the new record. Okay. So this method should be registered as a click for my button. So here is my add button at the rate click, sorry, on click equal to. I hope this should work. So what I will do, run the project. So I have the form. So okay, so let me fill some data. So Dell 1500, a new laptop, brand Dell, cost from 50,000, and type laptop. Okay, inspect element so that we can see the network call. So add it. I haven't added any notification, but here you can see successful. See of my new record data in the variable, and in the response also it is coming. So if we scroll down, you can observe my new record. So that means we are successfully invoked the mutation command also from our strawberry shake library. So that's all guys about the strawberry shake library consuming from the Blazor WebAssembly application. I hope this video has delivered some useful information to you all. If you like my video, please do subscribe to my channel. We will meet you soon with the new videos. Until then, signing off.